were rumors. That in fact, the position was a code compliance officer, and the start of the position was actually, I see you laughing. The start of the position was actually to help people who are trying to build better understand what code was. Now, just to share with you a little bit, it's ridiculous. He went to a lot of lengths to share that with me. Those 4 emails, and a couple of them I took down as well, over the course of a week. And one of the interesting things that Dennis was unaware was also happening in the background, because I have friends here in the business community who are aware of the fact that I was communicating with the commissioners, and they came and turned me. So now that you've read this feedback, let's give a period filing request, and let's get the actual email circulated between the commissioners, the head of the department, and what all the conversations around it. And over how many times code enforcement showed up in Dennis Orla's emails back to the department, when I got to the 9 times, I went, you know what, this guy deliberately lied to me about the position. And they even described, there were descriptions between outside parties. I'm talking about residents of the county and the building director herself, and saying, we're waiting until we get our code enforcement officer out, and we're just shutting those people down. There were threats against specific citizens in the county. Well, law enforcement knows over and over again. So that if you look today, once that person the position, that's the job. And the testimony that Webby recently does on January 2nd, you didn't say it here, but it's like 57 minutes that would bring the dickens out of people, but the only thing I shared was his 2 minutes of direct contact, direct feedback, but the preface to this beforehand and the questions that came from the committee afterwards, all the questions around where do you bring the fund enforcement now, and where do you use the building permit cost for now? Like, where do they go? So those questions were everybody up at meeting, calling along, talking about enforcement. And they also knew that what Weber was there lobbying for, and the other county commissioner that showed up were lobbying for, was the right to be able to use permit fees to raise funds for the county. Nobody was confused about that. And interestingly enough, you guys know I had Wayne Allen Root here last Saturday.
I do.
And I shared with Wayne that situation, because Wayne has been a part of the Libertarian Party. He's shared his alliances with the Republican Party as well, and I had conversation with him and shared with him what the 2 laws were. And Wayne's a very intelligent guy. He had heard about this issue before and had a chance to take a look at it. And Wayne's response to this question, when I said, essentially what Wayne is trying to do to defend his actions, is he's saying, I was going to Olympia to try to take state-level control and bring it down to control. And others in the panel have repeated that. I was just trying to take state control and bring it down to local control. Because that's what someone was doing. Oh, yeah. And when I ran this guy right on the back, I said, Kevin, a regular mayor is there to protect citizens from both ends of the county. That's a good thing. And so a claim that was going down the ability bed when claiming the testimony is otherwise, I said, that's too much. Bullshit. And I made sure I was like, because that's exactly what it gets.
Yeah, if you... Go ahead.
About that. So, correct me if I'm wrong, but he is wanting to hire a position with tax dollar money to enforce codes that are out of date.
Yes.
That's correct. Yep.
That was a waste of our money.
Well, it's generate more money. In case you didn't know, they're clearing the citizens of money. I mean, it's just
but he was essentially stating that they're hiring a code enforcement officer with taxpayer money to enforce codes that are out of date. So, that's what they do.
Quite nice.
Just say, here, you told
we're talking a little
that really are using or rated their own local money and the homeless people. Well, that was not about money. It was about local control. Well, so it's sort of like a player, talking to a boss member, some kind of really using it, like you're the software, and you're supplying it for local control. Don't worry. I mean, you can see right through it. It's not. You were thinking about that was that I looked up to critical news and expressing really disappointed. I've been on it for 2 days. So there's not even heard that Dennis Weber there. Weber's got a one see that? Are you on that line? No, I've actually been. Yes, I know. So we'll go ahead and play that for you guys. And this is Dennis Weber. Please go to the Flying District 2, and this is him up in Olympia. This is him up in Olympia. Yeah, well, I mean, half of the people is what his claims are. So there's some information. Look up there and when I make this rebate on our behalf.
Hello, I'm Kevin Hunter, presenting testimony by Commissioner Dennis Weber, lobbying on behalf of HB 1802, January 13th, 2016, Olympia, Washington.
So,
current Washington state law requires that building permit fees cannot be any greater than the direct cost associated with issuing a permit, preventing the county from gouging its citizens with excessive fees. HB 1802 is legislation that would change this, permitting counties to raise revenue on the backbone of anyone building a home or developing something new in the county. Citizens in Cowlitz County have already expressed outrage with high permit fees, but Weber's idea was to drive them even higher. You will hear Weber justify his request based on the fact that Cowlitz County has essentially experienced zero growth in 35 years. You will also hear Weber state to the House committee that he genuinely believes that this tactic of placing a hidden tax on building permits would bring Cowlitz County back to prosperity.
Good morning, Madam Chairman, members of the committee. I'm Cowlitz County Commissioner Dennis Weber, and I urge your support for House Bill 1802 because it gives the local governments more flexibility in deciding how state-mandated long-range planning activities are funded. While we strongly support that Washington State should provide funding to local governments to accomplish the programs that the state mandates, we also feel equally as strong that local governments should be able to augment any shared revenues with the flexibility that House Bill 1802 provides. Long-range planning activities that reflect local values are critical in Cowlitz County's strategic plan to attract economic development and residential growth. And we've learned firsthand that one of the most important steps we can take to attract development to our area is to have codes and regulatory environments that are consistent, predictable, and up to date. With an annual population growth of less than 0.7% over the last 35 years, with unemployment that consistently lags behind the state's average, with family median income of 20% below the state's average, and with 1 out of 3 residents eligible and enrolled in Medicaid, it's obvious we haven't had much economic growth in Cowlitz County. Consequently, our local priorities have been in law enforcement, in combating homelessness, in addressing community mental health and substance abuse challenges. And as a result, our codes, our planning guidelines are out of date, they're inconsistent with recent state laws, and they represent clogs in the pipeline of permitting. For example, we cannot permit RV parks because our codes are inconsistent and out of date. And yet, we are anticipating a significant industrial development breaking ground later this year that will have hundreds of workers needing temporary housing. Their wages are going to go outside of Cowlitz County, and that's a frustration to us because we're so far behind in updating these code procedures. Unfortunately, our general fund is already strapped. House Bill 1802 will provide us some flexibility to tap other sources to help us get this important task done. Cowlitz County is a non-GMA county because of the slow or virtually no growth that we've experienced, but we still have to do long-range planning under the RCWs to provide and protect the environment, to protect public health, safety, and welfare. We've got multiple state-mandated programs and planning efforts that are swamping our building and planning department, including the Shoreline Master Program, critical area ordinances. We are developing the voluntary stewardship program, but our comp plan is 40 years old. We need some help With House Bill 1802, you can help us battle our way back to prosperity. Thank you.
Incredibly, Dennis Weber believes that Cowlitz County should have the flexibility of jacking up building permit fees to augment county revenues, and describes this strategy as a way for Cowlitz County to battle back to prosperity. It's difficult to find greater ignorance of how real prosperity is created in any community than what was heard on this day, January 13, 2016, courtesy of Cowlitz County Commissioner, Mr. Dennis Weber. Thankfully, wisdom prevailed in the House, and Dennis Weber's lobby attempt for HB 1802 was resoundingly defeated by both parties. Dennis Weber's testimony is very telling about the character of a commissioner running on a conservative platform known as the Republican Party. This is exactly the kind of behavior that gives rise to the commonly known term, RINO, Republican in name only. Do you agree with Dennis Weber that Cowlitz County would have seen a return to prosperity if HB 1802 had passed? Please comment below and share this message with your friends. Video obtained and compiled by Kevin Hunter. For more information, visit citizencommissioner.com. Donate or volunteer to help us bring an end to the 35-year growth drought in Cowlitz County. The future of the county rests on you.
I think it's picking up that. So, and we are back. And so, I just listen to that. That he was saying that that's supposed to bring Cowlitz County back to prosperity by sucking off
how's they
revenue
do that?
from
it's
the
actually a penalty to anybody who wants to build or develop in the county is going to see additional fees. And
it's not like they want control so they can lower the prices.
It's such a politician thing to do. And when you take the word politician and you break it down, it means politics. And when you take that word and you break it down, politics, poly means many, like a polygon, a many-sided thing. Poly, many, ticks. They're blood-sucking parasites. And that's exactly just an excellent way to describe that bit of lobbying for the people to bring us back to prosperity that, our county commissioners obviously think is a good idea. That it's completely a blood-sucking parasite type thing to do, to go to somebody that is trying to create jobs or build a house in this county and raise their fees. It's
how many years of the Democratic rule
in this county?
Yeah, it's been a long time, hasn't it?
Too long.
I know in the state it's over 30.
So, when they claim that they have all this experience, and they claim that we need their leadership because of their experience, and then you hear things like that, and them going up to Olympia to speak on our behalf, and that's what their experience has led them to believe is a good thing. It really makes me think that's not really what we need. And, you were mentioning that you had Wayne Allen Rue on your show last week, and I saw the video that you put out about what he had to say about experience in politics, and it was just absolutely a wonderful statement. I couldn't agree with him anymore. Wayne Allen Rue was the Libertarian Party vice presidential candidate in 2008 with Bill Burr. And what he says really speaks just to the issue that regular citizens should be in charge of the government. I don't think our forefathers meant for us to be told what to do by a ruling class of career politicians who just make a living at living off the backs of everybody else and all their neighbors. And so I'm going to go ahead and play this video by Wayne Root here, and what he has to say, as far as I'm concerned, is just absolutely true.
Government never cuts. They never fire anyone. They never cut anyone's salary. They never base it on performance.
Sure.
All of life should be based on performance. You either succeed or you get fired. That's the private sector. That's not government.
So on a national level, we've talked about those issues. At a local level, how do people then take back their counties, take back their states? what do you recommend? Because we're all the issues with taxation and regulation that are mandated from a federal level and coming to state level.
Yeah.
But the fixing of the political environment